This is Eddie Luisi. Don't interview anybody else. Do this whole thing with me. Just me and Jillian go back and forth. Forget everybody else. Do one video with Eddie.
Welcome to the Eddie and Jillian show.
I'm connected. I help souls with their divine appointments.
Divine appointer. We need to get you a shirt, Eddie, that says that.
You make it, I'll wear it.
Okay.
The divine appointer.
Divine appointer. I like it.
My name is Eddie Luisi, L-U-I-S-I.
Had you participated with Future Now before?
Yes. I wasn't part of the first year, but I found out about it after the first year. And then this was the fourth year, right, that we just did? So I've been in
yes.
two, 3, and then this one 4. So I participated 2 and 3 in person, and then 4 virtually.
Awesome. So what was different about this year, besides the obvious?
Well, besides the obvious, what I loved about this year the most was the pre-conference when we were on the Hoover app, because the Hoover app was up like a week in advance, whatever, a week, 5 days. And it seemed like certain people were chit-chatting and becoming friendly and starting different questions and starting different groups. So there was something before the actual conference ever happened that there was a connection. I would go on daily, multiple times, so when I would get back and forth, I think they had some type of leaderboard, so I wound up number 5. I think I was the only speaker that got there. It was all the students, but I was having fun.
I did see that. You looked like you were having a lot of fun, and it was awesome. Why do you volunteer with Future Now? Why do you love it?
I like to mentor people. If you look at my LinkedIn page and one of my old business cards, and I work at Good Morning America, I've been there over 33 years, and Eddie has been honored and blessed to work with many of the best in all fields of the business. He's handed out a lot of business cards, so he made a lot of contacts, and he tries to help people. I feel like part of my mission on this earth, especially being in media, music, ministry, and the other end, mentoring. And I try to mentor people in different ways. And Peggy Kim found me through Jonathan Graham, which is Master Media International. She introduced us, and we just hit it off, and she wanted me to be part of it, and I said yes. Because I've been helping people all along and mentoring, and at Good Morning America, we have a lot of schools that from all over the United States, high schools and colleges, that will come visit. So I made friends with many schools that would come in, and then afterwards I would give them a tour and I would give them a talk. So I've been doing that for over 15 years or so. So when Peggy reached out to me, Future Now Media Conference, to do something kind of formally, I said, yeah, let's do it.
And I really love that about your personality, and it just came through, even through the computer, it came through on the relay session. I really loved how you talked about your Christian faith, because I'm also a Christian, and I connected with Peggy on that already, but I've really found that was great that you shared that even in a conference setting.
Yeah, and when I first met with Peggy, I knew she was a Christian, and I know she sang in the choir, and I'm a musician and I sing too. So we hit it off on that level also. But she said Future Now Media Conference isn't mentioning Jesus and Christianity, all that sort of stuff. We want to just get top pros that are all her friends, right? And mentor people. But underlying our personalities, there's that Jesus quality, that Christ-like quality that wants to help your neighbor and love your neighbor and all that sort of stuff. So even though she's not hammering it or banging over people's heads, it's there. And I told myself, well, I'm going to be on this screen and I'm going to throw it in a little bit, what do I got to lose? It's live.
And I love that too, because sometimes if you try to hammer it in, it can come across as disingenuous. So sometimes it's just best to lead by example and kind of weave it in there. I didn't really discover that I wanted to go into video, like production or being on camera, until a few years ago. So I originally really wanted to go into ministry, so I'm still trying to find a way where I can combine both, but I'm young, so I'm working on it. In your opinion, what was the best part or moment from this year's conference?
My chat with Rob Simmons. It was the best. Come on. It had a little comedy, it had a little levity, it had some information, had a little bit of everything. I enjoyed our little thing with Rob, and I knew it was kind of professional, and there were a lot of big wigs there. So I said, let me add a little levity and a little fun, because like I said earlier, with the Hoover app too, I was trying to throw a little lightness and a little fun, a little God bless, and all that sort of stuff. So I figured, okay, let me throw that in. So me and Rob Simmons was the best.
I loved your honesty. It was amazing because I definitely did feel such a mood change in the conference. And because we had talked before and you recommended me to the conference,
Right.
Sorry, my dog's in the background here.
Okay.
But because you had recommended me to the conference, I couldn't help but smile when I saw you come on the screen and you're all full of life. I love that.
I had the headphones on too. I made believe like I was in one of those game shows where you can't hear. I had all my little props all over the place. I had props.
And how did you benefit from the conference being virtual?
Well, I guess it was a lot easier for me. I could be right here in my house. I actually enjoy going to the conference in person, but it is a long day. And I would always go early and help. So I'd be there 7, 8 o'clock, and I'd be there, a good 10 hours. And then usually the conference was held downtown in the city somewhere. And I'm an hour north of Midtown. So you're talking an hour and a half to get home, if not more, with traffic. So yeah, the convenience was really, really great.
So what were your 3 takeaways from the conference, if you had to pick 3?
First takeaway is that there are a lot of bright and talented students that are going to be the next generation of leaders in this media field, number 1. Number 2, there are a lot of loving and willing and talented and smart pros that have been around for years that want to give back. And lastly, just a whole vibe of people wanting to learn, people wanting to teach. And even in the pros, like there was a pro musician who's a songwriter, and I got excited to meet him. So it's like, I think even between us, we made our own connections that that maybe we could work with each other in the future too. So I think it was a whole collaboration of the pros helping the students helping each other, developing different communities, different groups, different chat rooms, and the pros helping each other too. So I think it was a win-win all the way around.
I completely agree. With that, what surprised you about the caliber of attendees?
Virtually, you don't really get to see everybody. So the caliber that there was a handful, 6 to 10 people that I was in communication with the Hoover app. So that caliber, I found really motivated people, really smart people, people that really wanted to get as much as possible. It was funny because initially when we had the attendee, we had the schedule, and I was part of 3 mentor stuff, and there was 30 people signed up, and I would say, there's 138. How come I'm only hearing 38 people? Like I was kind of teasing, but it's also like, this is a benefit for you. So take as much as you can. If this is a 2-day event, a 3-day event, if it's 5 days with Hoover, take advantage of all those days and be chatting, because this is only a little snippet out of your life. So a handful of people, and you were one of them, and obviously by you doing this post type, interviews and editing a piece, you're actually at the top of the top also. So it's nice to see people like you, and then there were, like I said, a handful of other people that, and we were competing too, going back and forth with our comments and all that sort of stuff. So it was fun. It was cool.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I agree. There was a lot of competition on there, but it was definitely friendly. So, is there any advice you have for future attendees or mentors?
I would say be involved when however this is going to be in person, if it's going to be virtually, if it's 2 days, if it's 3 days. Be involved in everything from the beginning to the end. Take down notes. What Rob Simmons did, he was the kid that I mentored and he interviewed me, but we did an unofficial mentorship. We weren't part of the Future Now. We just hit it off by ourselves. What he did, and this is what I did also as you know, a professional. He went on the website prior and looked at every single professional and read all their bios. And you know, there's 65 pros. He read every single bio, and he knew out of all those bios he wanted to meet me. Because I don't know, I guess you could ask him and stuff, but I guess I do TV and I do music and I do ministry. And so he felt a connection. And then we said in our little chit chat how at one thing we just happened to sit with each other and we hit it off. So do your homework, look at all the different people, find who might be the 1, 2, 5, or 6 people that you want to, what's the word, you stalk. No, you don't want to stalk us, but but the people that you feel are in best connection with. And then try to reach out, try to see them, you know, because we're all there and we all know that you guys want to chit chat with us and meet us and contact. And when the connection happens, that's a good thing, right? So do your homework, investigate, give your all. If the Whova app is going to be up, the first day is up, get in there and get in every single thing. And even if you aren't into a certain subject or you don't want to comment, put a thumbs up, just so people see your name, people see your picture, and always get involved, always be courteous. And then down the road, if you do start contacting people, and not just pros, but anybody, right? If somebody sends you a text, an email, a private message, whatever, you get back to them within 24 hours. If you can do it within an hour, great. If you're real busy and you really can't read the whole thing, say, hey, look, I'm really busy, but I got your message. I'll get back to you in a couple days. Let people know. That's the professional thing to do. And then they'll remember you and they say, I like you. You know what I'm saying?
That's great advice, definitely. Because sometimes it can be so easy to be like, oh, they'll understand that I'm busy and then just kind of leave it. But that's very good because people will remember you. Do you have any suggestions or recommendations for Future Now 2021?
Just work hard, do things outside of class, okay? What's important, it's great that you're in school and you go to school and you try to get good grades, you try to be creative. But it's the things outside of class. What do you do when you're not in school? What do you do on the weekends? Where do you volunteer? Where do you do extra stuff? If you want to be a videographer, a director, or a camera person, or, you know, you should be shooting videos. If you want to be a writer, you should be writing every single day. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be great stuff all the time, but the more you do it, you get better, better, and better. And if you want to be an on-air type host, make videos, you know, do different things, you know, get different outfits, get different hair and makeup, and go to different locations and do something at a desk and do something out on streets and make videos and do stuff like that. I think that's a cool thing to do. Didn't you do something like that? Send it to me.
Definitely. I have a YouTube channel, actually. It's called JK It's Jill.
Cool.
And have you had a lot of attendees follow up with you?
I've had around a dozen. Some of them just kind of said, you know, could we connect in LinkedIn? And I said, sure. And we connected. 2 or 3, maybe 4, actually were going back and forth with emails, and I'm helping. One young lady, Jamie, who always was posting the Happiness Ninja. We've been going back and forth, and she's been sending me a lot of information. And I also sent on the Whova app that Master Media International with Jonathan Graham, he was doing an interview, a Zoom interview with Lewis Henry Mitchell, who's a designer for Sesame Street, and he's a photographer, and he's a composer, and he does all these different things. And Jonathan and they had an hour interview last week. And what he said, which was fabulous, early on in his career, he knew he wanted to work with Sesame Street and puppets, especially when he saw the Muppet Show and all that sort of stuff. And he had a professor and I forgot what school, but he said, oh, you're shooting too high. You're never going to work Sesame Street. You know, and you know how many pros there are that want to get that gig? And then he went home deflated and he spoke to his mom. And his mom said, you could do anything you want, you know, and if you want to work there, you can. And now it's 30, 40 years later, he's been there for all these years. That hit something in my head because when I was chatting with Jamie and she was talking about the Happiness Ninja, I was saying, I don't know. I wasn't sure about if that's the direction you want to go because it was kind of a little silly and stuff. But I said, but maybe it's more for kids. And then all of a sudden I thought into Sesame Street. So now I'm trying to hook up Jamie with Lewis from Sesame Street. And I don't know if that could be a character with Children's Television Workshop, or he's an illustrator artist, he's a photographer, maybe he could help her do her own thing or get it, you know. So it's like, we're all connected, we all try to help each other out. That's what I like to do, you know, I like to connect people. I was once told by Joan Baer, she's an author, and we had a little meeting with her grandson, and I was mentoring her grandson. We were chit-chatting at a diner for a half hour, and I was giving him advice. And I said, look, Joan, I said, I can't get people jobs because I'm a stage manager, and stage managers don't really hire. But I've been blessed to work with so many people, and I have a lot of contacts, so I can connect. And she gets really close to my face, right? And she goes, Eddie, you're not a connector, you're a divine appointer. You help people, you help souls with their divine appointments. And I said, wow, that's crazy. That's still me, right? I still wear my t-shirt, Friends in the Spirit 111. That's who I am. So if I'm gonna mentor or I'm gonna help people, I'm gonna put that in there too, because that's part of me. I'm drinking from a cup called the Good News Association. This is an association in Rockland County that a bunch of churches, they developed their own association, so they kind of work with each other. This one man, Pastor Ed, who's probably in his 60s, we had breakfast together, we chit-chatted. He started a mentoring program at the poorer high schools. And he's asked me to mentor there, and COVID happened, so I haven't been able to physically be there. But with Black Lives Matters now, I definitely want to mentor there also. So I'll have the Good News Association where I can mentor. I have the Future Now. So it's 2 levels really of helping. And then he was, during COVID, his organization were shopping for elderly and sick people that couldn't get out. So I saw his post to me, and he didn't ask for anything, but he just posted what they were doing, and I sent it to Good Morning America and the ABC Pandemic Show. And within minutes, the executive producer of the Pandemic Show said, I want to book him. And I got him booked on the show. And then after that, we're texting back and forth, and he's on fire. And he said, Eddie, he says, I want to do live interviews on Instagram with 12 pastors in Rockland County. I said, great, how can I help you? He said, I want you to be the host. I said, me, the host? I said, that is what I do. Why don't you do that? He says, no, I want you to do it. I love your personality. I love your honesty. I love how you joke around. So somewhere in the future, I'm going to be like you, interviewing pastors on Instagram for the Good News Association. So you see how everything kind of connects and everybody works with each other, and there's a message. Because we want to hear, especially the church. We say the church is us, not the physical buildings. So you guys are not only the future leaders of the media, right, and TV, but the future leaders, you know, in the church also, ministry. How cool is it if you could do both? And you said early on in this interview, you were thinking about ministry and this and that. You could do both. The one job that does both, or doing 2 different things.
I went on a Peru mission trip last year and I filmed the whole thing, and that was kind of when I decided, I was thinking, I just love showing how other people can help through video.
Like I said, I know lots of different people, and sometimes something hits me in a certain way, and it takes time, but I say, ooh, I could introduce her to this person or that person, whatever. Friends in Spirit 111, which is my Facebook page. And that's not just Christian, that's open to all denominations, all spiritualities, all Christians. It's just a loving community that we all share.
And we need more of that in this world, very true.
Amen, amen.
Well, thank you so much for taking this time to speak with me today, Eddie.
You're welcome, my pleasure.
Awesome, we'll have to do it again sometime.
Okay, we'll stay in touch.